Hi, I'm Carlos from RunRepeat, and today we will be discussing the new Brooks Cascadia 14. This is a specialized trail running shoe by Brooks, which sports a 8mm drop and 10.7 ounces of weight, which is almost 1 ounce, or a little over 1 ounce lighter than the previous model. So if you're looking for a bargain, you probably won't buy the 13 over this. This is a very specialized shoe with lots of features specialized for trail running. We have the Track Trail Outsole, which is a system designed by Brooks to provide stability and grip, as well as speed. We will be discussing that later. We have the Cordura mudguard on the sides, which helps wick away the water that comes in the shoe and also protect from lateral impacts to the shoe. In trail running, if you guys have been trail running in heavy technical trails, you know what I'm talking about. This is very important because this can produce injuries. The ride on this shoe by the manufacturer is supposed to be a very cushioned shoe. We will be discussing about that in length later on. And it's the 14th iteration of the shoe, which means it's a staple model of Brooks. And so let's start with the description. It's a engineered mesh on top, very standard mesh. I would say almost looks vintage, but the design is very fresh. This is their gray blue colorway, which I think is my favorite, and it has very substantial heel counter, which helps in the lockdown and comfort of the shoe. And also it's this very interesting pull tab on the tongue, which I think it's mostly decorative, but it's the first time I see it. Also has this pull tab on the back, this velcro strap on the back, which I suppose is for hanging in a rope so they dry. My experience with this shoe running in trails in different surfaces has been very satisfactory. I have tried them on gravel, mud, sand, concrete as well, asphalt, in uphill, downhill. I put it through the paces and it really performed. I mean, it's a shoe that looks heavy on the while you hold it, and that was my first impression, that it was a heavy shoe. But after reviewing it, after running in it, I realized it doesn't feel as heavy. It probably is because it provides you with a lot of stability, grip, and it is bottom heavy because of all the rubber on the bottom. But it doesn't feel heavy in a bad way. I mean, it feels heavy as in secure. And the feeling inside is absolutely plush and comfortable, although the cushioning is not as plush and yielding as you would expect from a cushion experience shoe, like Brooks call it. The midsole, it mostly has to do with the positioning of the rock guard, which is really down on the bottom, where it's supposed to be, so it can protect you from impact going to the plate, and it makes the cushioning less present, except when you're on a very regular road. In that case, you can feel the cushioning as you hit objects that are more pronounced. But when you don't feel the cushioning, it's not uncomfortable. It's a very, very comfortable shoe. My first run was 16 kilometers, which is a little crazy to be the first time I wore them. But feet were not an issue. I mean, it was very comfortable, no problem, fresh feet afterwards. So it's a very comfortable shoe. I would recommend it if you have issues with other shoes, because it also has a very wide toe box. Although it doesn't look, by looking at it, you can see that it looks very straight. It doesn't look like it has a big toe box, but it does, and it's very comfortable. On the outsole situation, the outsole is very grippy. It has to be, but it is really grippy. But one of my concerns in my first impressions was that I didn't think you could go fast with them. Since they were a little heavy and all these separated logs from the outsole, they looked kind of heavy, kind of sluggish. But as you try them on, especially uphill, you can achieve very good speeds. Actually, I did very well on my races, and it was a very good experience. On the downside, I would probably have no real downside. The only downside I can think of was probably after going through very heavy mud. I mean heavy mud, probably mud you shouldn't be running in. The outsole did get a little saturated, meaning the mud stuck in between the logs, so it became slippery at moments. But deep in water was sufficient to remove the mud from the outsole. And one of the other things that I loved about this shoe was the water wicking capabilities. I mean, I put them through water, through puddles, through streams, and although it's not the Gore-Tex version, which is waterproof. These have a Gore-Tex version. It's not this one. When it gets water from the top, from the sides, it does release the water from the sides very quickly, and it also, the shoe dries very quickly, especially this lower area, which is what gets wet the most. And the water seems to leave through these side rails, through this mud guard, and also the inseams have holes in them, so they can breathe in weak water faster. About washing them, it's a very important feature on a trail shoe, because you can get away with not washing road shoes often, but in case of muddy trail shoes, you probably have to wash them every use or every other use to avoid mud getting really stuck on them. I did put them through emotions and I got him really dirty. Well, that's it for this review of the Brooks Cascadia 14, and remember to subscribe to the Run Repeat channel, and if you like this video, hit that thumbs up below. That'll make us very happy, and see you back next time. Happy running!